Yeah. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Welcome to our session, the Advent, the reading of the translations of the Advent of the Bhagavad-Gita. So far, Guru Maharaj, we have already read 4 chapters for the past 1 hour.
Yes.
Guru Maharaj, like to give the talk now, Guru Maharaj. And before that, I think Meenakshi Sundram Prabhu like to say a few words.
Who?
And welcome Prabhu. Meenakshi Sundram Prabhu, are you
there? Hare Krishna Maharaj. Meenakshi Sundram here from Klang, ISKCON Klang. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for your presence in our group here. This is the first time we are taking such effort to do this Advent of Sri Bhagavad-Gita, so that in future we will have a continuity of this program. So with your blessings, Maharaj, I think we will be able to progress further, Maharaj. Then Maharaj, please accept our garland from the temple. On behalf of the temple, Maharaj. Garland Maharaj.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you once again, Maharaj. We can continue with the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I can continue, Sri Devi.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. We're so fortunate to have Guru Maharaj here.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today is the auspicious day in which Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad-Gita more than 5,000 years ago at Kurukshetra. Of course, that was not the first time Lord Krishna was speaking the Bhagavad-Gita. The Bhagavad-Gita is eternal knowledge, and Lord Krishna is continuously speaking the Bhagavad-Gita. Even right now, Lord Krishna is speaking Bhagavad-Gita in some other universe. So we have to understand the nature of this transcendental knowledge, which we call as the Bhagavad-Gita. That Lord Krishna is giving us the essence of religion. He's describing to us the main principles behind spiritual life and answering many of the important fundamental questions which arise in a person's mind, particularly when we're in a situation where we have to make decisions. Just as Arjuna found himself perplexed in the middle of a battlefield, having to fight against his relatives. But Arjuna was very fortunate because he had Lord Krishna as his companion, and he was also very intelligent, and he was able to approach Lord Krishna. As we heard in the beginning of the 2nd chapter, Arjuna was saying that Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava, that because of my miserly weakness, I'm confused about my duty. And Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna to please instruct him. Arjuna had become confused about the religious principles. Of course, in the Kali Yuga, most people are not religious at all, but still they have to make decisions. And when it comes to making decisions, we need to have some good knowledge. So from the Bhagavad-Gita, we can get real knowledge. We can get knowledge about the true nature of the material world and the nature of our own self as well, and the nature of also the personality behind this world and the person who's ultimately responsible for this world. These are things which we generally don't think about, but the Bhagavad Gita awakens us to think about such issues. The Bhagavad Gita is very thought-provoking. In the course of discussing different decisions, Arjuna and Lord Krishna cover the 5 main themes of the Bhagavad Gita. They speak about, first of all, Ishvara, that there is a supreme controller behind the world. They speak also about Prakriti, the material nature. They will speak, in the course of Bhagavad Gita, they speak also about the living entities, the jivas, the ordinary living entities as distinct from the Ishvara. And they speak also about time, kala. Time is something which we're all under the control of. We don't like to think about it, but certainly time is there and it's affecting all of us. And then Bhagavad Gita also describes Ishvara, Prakrita, Kala, Jiva, and one more thing. What is it? Nature. Huh?
The 5 things, karma, one more.
There's 5 main aspects of the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, karma. Karma, of course. Karma, meaning actions or reactions also. We all have some karma. Some people have a good karma and some have bad karma. And we all have a mixture of good and bad karma. And it's affecting all of us. The good karma brings enjoyment and the bad karma brings suffering. And so the nature of life is a mixture of both suffering and enjoyment. This is all due to how we've been acting in the material world. We explained one of the topics of Bhagavad Gita is Prakriti, nature. That there is 2 kinds of nature. There is, first of all, dead matter, which is made up of the different elements like earth, water, fire, air, and ether. But there's also another Prakriti, which are the living entities. Actually, all of us are Prakriti. We're the superior Prakriti. Dull matter is the inferior Prakriti. It doesn't have any consciousness. But we living entities, we have consciousness. But still, we are Prakriti. We're not independent of the Ishvara. We are under the grips of the Supreme Lord. So we have consciousness, but unfortunately our consciousness is polluted. We're in this material realm, we have polluted consciousness. And we think that the material energy, dull matter, is simply there for us to enjoy. We don't recognize who is actually the proprietor of all this matter. So Lord Krishna explains how the living entities are trying to exploit the material nature, and as a result of that, they're struggling very hard with their senses and the mind. It's our own fault. It's our own doing that we're struggling because we're trying to exploit the material energy. We're trying to claim the material energy for our own self, for our own enjoyment. But actually, it all belongs to the Ishvara, to the Supreme Controller. Nowadays, of course, people are often atheistic. They don't even believe in God. So God comes to them in the form of death. For people who are atheist, the Lord comes in the form of death. And as death, he takes away everything from them, takes away their own life. So that is for the atheist. But for the theist, for those who have a little better brain, they can understand that behind this creation, there is a controller, there's a supreme being, who we call Ishvara. There are many, you could say there are many Ishwaras. Each country will have an Ishvara. Each office has an Ishvara. Every home there's an Ishvara. But Lord Krishna is the Param Ishvara. He is the controller above all controllers. We know there are 33 crore devas in the heavenly planet. And all of those devas are under the control of the Param Ishvara, who we identify as Lord Sri Krishna. So there's one Ishvara, and all others are his servants. All others, meaning all the jivas, all the other living entities. There's Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva. Vishnu Tattva means those who are God, on the level of God. And Jiva Tattva means those living entities who are subordinate to the Supreme Personality. So we are jivas, we are subordinate to the Supreme, but we have a relationship with him. We do have an eternal relationship with him. And the whole purpose of Bhagavad-Gita is to awaken us to that consciousness, to understand, first of all, that we are individuals. We do have a personality, and we have our own nature, but at the same time, we have problems. So Bhagavad-Gita explains to us why we have difficulties. The difficulties come because we have forgotten our actual identity as spiritual beings. We identify ourselves simply as the body. We become lost in the world of illusion. Illusion, meaning we would simply often refer to as illusion as Maya, which is another energy of Lord Krishna. But there are two kinds of Maya. There is Mahamaya and there is Yoga Maya. Mahamaya is what most people are subjected to, most living entities. They're under the condition of total ignorance about their spiritual identity and their relationship with the Supreme. So that's Mahamaya. Under Mahamaya, living entities even want to try to kill Krishna. But there's another energy of Krishna which we call Yoga Maya. We can understand the nature of this Maya by understanding things like electricity. Just like electricity can be used to heat, but the same electricity, the same current can be used to cool. So electricity can work in different ways. And similarly, Lord Krishna's Maya also works in different ways. One type of Maya covers up Krishna to reveal him as some ordinary person, and out of ignorance, those who are demoniac, they want to kill Krishna. That is Mahamaya. But there is also Yoga Maya, which again covers up Krishna to reveal him as an ordinary person whom we can have loving relationship with and whom we can cultivate some exchange, loving dealings with. So that is called yoga maya. Devotees, they like by practice of bhakti yoga, they come under the influence of yoga maya. And they're able to serve Krishna as a friend, or as a servant, or as a parent, or as a lover. There are different relationships. Just as in the material world, we have these different kinds of relationships. Someone's a servant, working maybe in a job, or maybe you're serving in a home, serving some wealthy aristocratic people. Someone else is on sakyaras, friendship, and they enjoy the friendship with Lord Krishna. Just like Arjuna. Arjuna's qualification to hear the Bhagavad-Gita was described, Bhaktosi me sakacheti rahasyam hi etad uttamam. Lord Krishna describes that because you're my devotee as well as my friend, therefore I'm speaking this knowledge to you. So this was Arjuna's qualification to hear the Bhagavad-Gita. Of course, this was Arjuna being put under some kind of yoga maya, because Arjuna had heard Bhagavad-Gita before. Arjuna travels with Krishna in different places, in different universes. Arjuna will go with Krishna, and wherever Krishna goes, Arjuna will go with him, and Lord Krishna will speak the Bhagavad-Gita. The two will be together. So it's very helpful for someone who's separated or in confusion, some doubt, don't know what to do. It's important for them to get proper association, proper guidance. So Bhagavad-Gita provides that kind of guidance for all of us. It's an opportunity for all of us to hear about Lord Krishna. But before we understand Lord Krishna, you can see how this Bhagavad-Gita is so nicely presented, that in the beginning, Lord Krishna first of all describes who we who we are. What is our identity? Because you want to understand Krishna, if you don't know who you are, if you don't understand our own identity as spiritual beings, then we'll never understand Lord Krishna. So it's very important for us to first of all hear about our own identity. And this Krishna is covered in the second chapter, where he described the difference between the body and the soul. Very basic knowledge, but very, very important, and also very difficult to grasp, because we are conditioned souls. Bhagavad-Gita recognizes we're conditioned souls. We're under the influence of the material nature. And we have been in this material world a very long time. So in order for us to come out of that conditioned nature, it takes some time. It's not, because just like if you have some disease and you've had that disease for a long time, it's longer, it's more difficult to cure it, because you've had the disease for so long. In a similar manner, we have been conditioned. We have been in this material world longer than we care to even think. And because of our conditioning, we have to understand it takes some time for us to get out of that ignorance. And we have to hear from Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna is speaking for us the most basic knowledge. And he's speaking it in such a nice manner that everyone can understand. But still, you'll see in the 18th chapter, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, have you understood, Arjuna? Now you have to decide, what are you going to do? Lord Krishna doesn't push Arjuna that you have to do what I say, Arjuna, but rather Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna that this is the situation. And then he says to Arjuna, now you decide, Arjuna. What do you want to do? Are you going to fight or not? And so this is important for us to appreciate that Krishna speaking the Bhagavad-Gita is not like he's ramming it down our throat and say you have to accept it, but he's telling all of us these are the facts of life. This is the nature of the material world. And there's a process if you want to get out. So it's up to each and every individual to decide for themselves, what are you going to do? Lord Krishna, however, was asked by Arjuna to help. Please help me, yeah? Arjuna said, Shishyastiham sadimam tvam prapanam. Arjuna said to Lord Krishna that now I'm your disciple. I'm a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So Lord Krishna has been instructing him, but at the same time, when it comes to making a decision, he asks Arjuna, now what are you going to do? Are you going to fight or not? And Arjuna, after hearing the Bhagavad Gita from Lord Krishna, Arjuna he's convinced. He understands his position and the whole situation has become very clear to him. All of the illusion, all of the ignorance has all been cleared away. Just like when the sun comes out in the morning, all of the fog will be driven away by the powerful rays of the sun. If you come to a holy place like Mayapur in the winter time, we often get some fog in the early morning. But as soon as the sun comes up, then the fog will all be driven away. So all of the doubts, all of the illusions which we have, they're all driven away by the powerful knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita, hearing the Bhagavad-Gita. It's important for us when we hear the Bhagavad-Gita, not to just hear it from anyone, but to hear it from the devotees. And it's important for us to not only just hear the text, but we should also hear the purports, because there are many editions of Bhagavad-Gita, and different commentators, they may translate the text in a similar manner. The verses can be the same. The translation of the Sanskrit may be the same in many different editions, different commentators of Bhagavad Gita. But what makes the difference are the purports. Because when we get the purports from a Vaishnava, it will have a very different effect than hearing the purport from some Mayavadi. So, someone who's a Mayavadi equates Lord Krishna to illusion, and he thinks the whole material world and everything is illusion, and Lord Krishna is also illusion, and everything is illusion. So some people are like that. They're in that unfortunate condition. Of course, everything is not illusion. We say they may say Brahman Satyam Jagat Mithya, but we say Brahman Satyam Jagat Satyam. Right? They're saying that the world is false and only the Brahman is truth. But we say the world is true and the Brahman is also true. Yes, the world is true, but at the same time it is temporary. So we have to understand the distinction, the nature of this material world. And because it's temporary, we should understand this is not actually our real home. But the Bhagavad Gita is spoken to us to help to awaken us to knowledge of our real home, the place where we really belong. And Lord Krishna is inviting all of us to go there, to go back to him. And that's why he comes to this world. And this is why he speaks the Bhagavad-Gita. Because he wants each and every one of us to come out of our little dream here in this material world, that we're thinking we're going to live here forever, and I have my home and my family and my children and my pets and my this and that, and we're thinking we'll stay here forever. Nobody's making plans to get out from this world. And when the problems come, then they have difficulty to accept it. So we have to understand this message of the Bhagavad-Gita is very essential for people. Before the problems come, we should understand the nature of this world, that it is temporary, and we do die. We're all going to die. Each and every one of us is going to die. We have to give up our body. But we should be concerned, after giving up this body, where do we go? That is important. So Bhagavad Gita explains to us that if we are able to fix our consciousness on Lord Krishna at the end of life, then we can go to be with Krishna. We can get free from birth and death. We can free ourselves from all the miseries, the birth, the old age, the disease, and the death. We give up this body, we want never to take birth again in the material world. And it's possible, but we have to understand the nature of Lord Krishna. We have to understand what is proper consciousness. So this is this day which we're observing, of course, is only one day. Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad-Gita in some few hours on the battlefield at Kurukshetra. So we're celebrating that event. Many places devotees are reading Bhagavad-Gita. They're reading the Bhagavad-Gita without the purports, although we could give the Vaishnava purports. The Mayavadis, they give the Mayavadi purports, but we give the Vaishnava purport, which is very important. However, there's not a lot of time today. We have to do many other things. Today being Sunday also, there's a lot of programs going on, different events taking place. So we're very grateful that ISKCON Klang has organized this nice program celebrating the speaking of the Bhagavad-Gita. And of course, we hope every year it will go on. Actually, Bhagavad-Gita, as we said, Krishna speaking now some other place. So the Bhagavad-Gita is meant to be discussed all the time. Our ISKCON program is that every morning we will study Srimad Bhagavatam, and then in the evening we read the Bhagavad-Gita. And we will take one verse of the Bhagavad-Gita, we will read the Sanskrit, we will read the word meaning, we will read Prabhupada's purport, and then devotee, a senior devotee, will give the comment on that verse. Usually we will begin from the first verse of the Bhagavad Gita. And you can hear Prabhupada's lectures. Prabhupada himself, when he was in the UK, in our London centre, he was lecturing every evening on Bhagavad Gita. From the first verse, he went right through the first chapter every day, giving class on one verse and speaking about the significance of that verse and the different points which were made in it. So it's nice for devotees to hear Prabhupada speaking on Bhagavad Gita. And after hearing Prabhupada, then we should speak ourselves. We should have every evening classes on the Bhagavad Gita. If you're not having class in the center, then you can do a class like we're doing today online, or you can do a class in your home. You simply get a few people around you You don't need a lot of people. You just can have one person and you can get free of all the bondage of material life. All right, so we will stop here today. I will stop anyway and we will ask. There's Sri Devi Mataji, you have many other chapters to go on. I don't want to take more time.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for telling us the essence and the importance of Bhagavad-Gita. Some of the participants here are new. They are from the reading class that Guru Maharaj gave me that very nice service. And I had the good fortune also last year to be in Shilpa Mataji's reading class. So in fact, I learned a lot on how, reading classes go. So I carried on my own December last year, Guru Maharaj, 23rd December last year. So now we are up to, because we read like what Guru Maharaj said, the verses and the translations and purports and discussion. So now we are at what you call chapter 4. We have finished chapter 4 chapters, going to finish chapter 4 and moving on to chapter 5 in that reading class. So 4 of them are here from that reading class. And I'm very happy that Guru Maharaj could come into the class and spare the time, because I know the schedule is very tight because Guru Maharaj is in Johor now, and we look forward to seeing Guru Maharaj in KL, in SGMKL, as well as in ISKCON Klang. We're looking forward to seeing Guru Maharaj there, ISKCON Klang. So may I just ask whether anybody has any questions? Anyone has any questions to ask Guru Maharaj? Maybe one or two questions with regard to Bhagavad Gita, what Guru Maharaj presented just now. Guru Maharaj, maybe I can ask one question. There are some people in the reading group who actually also simultaneously go to other Bhagavad Gita discussion sessions by Mayavadi philosophers and all that. If the person simultaneously listening to different Bhagavad Gitas, what is the impact on the person, Guru Maharaj?
Well, it depends on how well you're educated in the Bhagavad Gita. If you hear from other people, then certainly it can have a poisonous effect. Just like chanting Hare Krishna mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra is, of course, very good to chant, but if you hear the mantra from people who are not devotees, from people who are Mayavadis and who have impersonal ideas about Lord Krishna, then the effect will be poisonous. Just like milk touched by the lips of a snake has a poisonous effect, so the same way the chanting of Hare Krishna can have a poisonous effect on a devotee. So similarly, hearing the Bhagavad Gita from people who are not devotional, they will often they will give their own mental speculation and they will give their own interpretations of the message of Lord Krishna, which will not be according to the parampara. So you deviate from the parampara, you make some changes, you bring in something new and like that. And so then the whole effect is lost, because it's very important to understand, as Krishna said, to understand his birth and his activities. Janma karma chame divyam. That Lord Krishna's birth and activities are all transcendental. They're not material. So unfortunately, you do get a lot of people who comment on the Bhagavad Gita, and they will comment on Lord Krishna as some ordinary person. They don't understand his transcendental nature. And this is very detrimental, very harmful to anybody cultivating devotion. So you have to be very careful about hearing from people. You want to know, what is their authority? On what basis are they qualified to speak? Have they been initiated in the parampara? Are they coming in a parampara, or are they just some speculator? Just like you go to a doctor, you want to be sure the doctor is qualified. That he's not just some quack, but he's actually qualified to teach, to guide.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have a question. Maharaj, can I ask you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've been a vegetarian since 4 years old, and I'm a Vaishnava since 4 years old. I've been into Krishna consciousness since 4 years old, and I have a dog. Since small, I've been a dog lover. So since I have a dog, I give them meat to eat. I feed them meat. So do you regard me as a Mayavadi, or do you regard me as a Vaishnava?
Well, you're not a pure Vaishnava.
I see.
You're trying to be a Vaishnava.
So do you put me into the category of a Mayavadi, or am I a Vaishnava?
You're not a Mayavadi, unless Mayavadi means that you think Krishna comes from the Brahman, or the Lord Krishna is a manifestation of the Brahman, and Mayavadis think the form of Krishna is Maya and the whole world is Maya. So Mayavadis have their own thinking. They see Krishna as an ordinary person. They don't see him as a divine person. But you're not a pure Vaishnava either, because a pure Vaishnava will not give meat to any dog. You may have dogs, that's another thing. First of all, a Vaishnava won't keep dog in the house. You don't bring dogs into the house, because dogs that's not where they belong. They're supposed to stay outside. Your principles of cleanliness are going to be ruined by the presence of a dog in the home. Because dogs are going to cast hair, the hairs fall from their bodies and so on, and then they will pass on so many. And as you just the things which you do with the dog, also you're feeding it meat. It's not necessary. There are dogs other places we don't give them meat. They don't have to eat meat. You want to be kind to dogs, we give them prasadam. You're not being kind to your dog, you're giving it meat. That is not Vaishnava. A Vaishnava will give his dog prasadam.
So
we don't mind being kind to dogs. We can live, but you want to liberate the dog. You should give it prasadam.
But my dog, if I had to give it any vegetarian food for a long time, it gets it becomes sick.
That's because you give it meat.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for your explanation.
Maharaj.
Okay.
Maharaj.
Thank you for the question. All right, Sri Devi, so thank you very much. We'll let you go on with the Bhagavad-Gita recitation. I'm also listening.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj.
Guru Maharaj. Is Guru Maharaj here?
Yes, what's wrong?
No, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, will it be possible when Guru Maharaj is free to just come into the reading class? Wanted to introduce you to the participants of the reading class, because one person, two persons have started chanting, so I just wanted Guru Maharaj to come in.
Okay, but not today.
Yeah, another day, next time, Guru Maharaj. I'll talk to Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.